Ms. Sampson, welcome to the committee.
Hi there, thank you for having me.
Welcome. You may proceed.
Okay. I know I'm a little younger of a face than you're used to seeing from the league, so hopefully we'll change that soon. A lot of the stuff that John Marion said when we came up here is stuff that we would like to reiterate as the league, and we are one of those organizations that signed onto that letter. I keep hearing the word transparency over and over and over, and that to me is really important. So to introduce myself, I am the Rhode Island League's people-powered fair maps redistricting champion. So this is a nationwide initiative that the league has done. This is our year 3 in the grant, but we have a C3 grant, so that is for education, and that is really what we focus on. We're focusing on putting tools into the hands of the voters, educating them, because you don't know what you don't know. And I know that, you can't ask a question about data that you don't have access to. You wouldn't even know to have that question. So I think that's why it's so important that we are really committed to that transparency. And it's, excuse me, a little nerve-wracking. So I think it's really important. I say I, but I'm speaking on behalf of the Rhode Island League here. We really support setting in place these written guidelines, the criteria, specifically outlining, defining the communities of interest, outlining the criteria, and the ranking of that criteria that will be used in the mapping process. That way the public will understand the values that are going to be prioritized in this process, and that way they can provide feedback for that. That assures them that all of their communities, and we've been talking about communities of interest, whether they're racial, ethnic, economic, cultural, geographic, or historical, that they are included and represented fairly in the mapping process. And you can really think outside of the box with communities. One of the trainings that I took, this was for the District R mapping tool that is actually browser-based, and you can go to it and play with it on your computer without downloading any software. It's totally free, and it's pretty user-friendly. One of the things they mentioned, thank you very much, was to think about, other things than just like where a church is or where a school is. You think of things like where a grocery store is. We talk about food deserts. Where do people go to get their food? That's part of what makes that community. So that's another thing to take into account when you're thinking. Just kind of think outside the box, sit down and write down a lot of, any criteria that you can think of, and chances are it relates to forming a community of interest. But we would really like to see the commission outline, come to a consensus on that with public input, and get that written down. That way the public understands that these are the values that you're committed to prioritizing. So.
Thank you, Ms. Sampson. Very nice job. Anyone on the committee have any questions for Ms. Sampson? Hearing none, thank you very much. Thanks for your testimony.